Good evening, my dear friend. Times you are safe here, in this quiet moment. With me. Times we will take a gentle journey through the quiet corners of soothing. Times Pip is a young boy, walking slowly through the fields, his feet brushing against the soft grass. Times he is not in a hurry, not chasing anything, not running from anything. He is just walking, slow and steady, taking in the quiet around him. Times his shoes are old, but comfortable, and the grass bends softly under his feet, making no sound, no disturbance. Times he walks with his head down, not sad, not worried, just calm, just present, in this quiet morning. Times the fields stretch out around him, green and wide, leading to the distant marshes that lie beyond the trees. Times the marshes are covered in a soft mist, thin and white, like a veil that wraps around the water and the grass. Times the mist is not thick, not scary, just soft, like a gentle breath, making the world look hazy and calm, like a painting that has been blurred at edges. Times the mist moves slowly, very slowly, drifting across the marshes, as if it too is taking its time, enjoying the quiet of the morning. Times you can hear the soft sound of water far away, from the river that winds through the marshes. Times it is a slow, gentle sound, the water flowing softly over the stones, no rush, no noise, just a steady, calming rhythm that matches your breathing. Times the water is clear, cool, reflecting the pale blue sky and the soft mist, making the world look double, like a dream within a dream. Times Pip stops for a moment, standing still in the grass, and closes his eyes. Times he can feel the soft sun on his face, warm but not hot, a gentle warmth that seeps into his skin, into his bones. Times he can hear the soft chirp of a bird, far away, a gentle sound that echoes through the fields, slow and soft. Times he can feel the cool dew on his hands, as he brushes them against the grass, a gentle touch that grounds him, that makes him feel alive, feel present. Times the bird continues to chirp, slow and steady, a gentle melody that mixes with the sound of the river, with the soft rustle of the grass. Times it is a beautiful sound, a quiet sound, a sound that makes you feel calm, makes you feel at peace. Times the bird is not singing loudly, not trying to be heard, just singing, soft and gentle, because it can, because the morning is quiet, because it is happy to be alive. Times Pip opens his eyes again, and looks out at the marshes, at the soft mist that drifts across them. Times he sees a single bird, flying slowly above the mist, its wings moving gently, no hurry, no rush, just floating, like a leaf in the wind. Times the bird flies low, close to the water, and then higher, towards the pale blue sky, disappearing into the mist for a moment, before reappearing, slow and steady. Times the grass sways softly in the gentle breeze, slow and rhythmic, like a dance that never ends. Times each blade of grass moves in its own time, soft and slow, no competition, no hurry, just being, just existing. In this quiet morning. Times the grass is green, vibrant, but not bright, not overwhelming, just soft, calm, like the rest of the world around it. Times Pip takes another step, slow and steady, his feet sinking slightly into the soft grass. Times he feels the cool earth beneath his feet, warm and damp, a gentle reminder that he is here, that he is safe, that he is not alone. Times he walks towards the marshes, towards the soft mist, towards the slow, gentle river that flows beyond. Times his steps are slow, deliberate, each one a gentle movement that does not disturb the quiet of the morning. Times the mist grows a little thicker as he walks closer, wrapping around him like a soft blanket. Times it is cool, but not cold, a gentle touch that covers his face, his hands, his arms. Times the mist is soft, like cotton, like a cloud that has come down to the earth, to wrap around him, to keep him safe. Times he can see only a few feet ahead of him, but he is not afraid. He feels calm, he feels safe. He knows that the mist will not harm him. Times the river is closer now, and the sound of the water is a little louder, but still soft, still gentle, still a calming rhythm. Times the water flows over the stones, slow and steady, creating a soft gurgling sound that mixes with the mist, with the chirp of the bird, with the rustle of the grass. Times it is a symphony of quiet sounds, a lullaby that wraps around you, that makes you feel relaxed, that makes you feel ready to drift. Times Pip stops again, beside the river, and looks down at the water. Times he sees his reflection, blurred by the mist, blurred by the movement of the water. Times his face is soft, calm, no worry, no sadness, just a young boy, present in the moment, enjoying the quiet of the morning. Times the water ripples softly, as a gentle breeze touches its surface, and his reflection moves with it, slow and soft, like a dream. Times he bends down and dips his finger into the water. Times it is cool, but not cold, a gentle touch that sends a soft shiver down his arm, but not a harsh one, just a gentle reminder of the world around him. Times the water is clear, and he can see the stones beneath the surface, smooth and round, worn by the slow flow of the river over many years. Times the stones are different colors, gray, brown, white, each one unique, each one quiet, each one just being. Times the mist drifts around him, slow and steady, moving like a soft breath. Times it wraps around the river, around the grass, around the trees, making everything look soft, look calm, look like a dream. Times the mist is not here to hide anything, not here to scare anyone, just here to wrap around the world, to make it softer, to make it calmer, to make it a place where you can rest, where you can relax, where you can let go. Times Pip stands up again and looks back at the fields, at the trees that stand at the edge of the marshes. Times the trees are tall, but not imposing, their branches stretching out gently, cover red and green leaves that rustle softly in the breeze. Times the leaves are green, soft, and the sunlight filters through them, casting tiny, warm spots on the ground, on the grass, on the water. Times the trees are quiet, standing tall and steady, like old friends, watching over the countryside, watching over Pip, watching over you. Times a soft breeze blows, gentle and slow, carrying the smell of grass and wildflowers, carrying the sound of the river, carrying the chirp of the bird. Times it brushes against Pip's hair, soft and gentle, like a hand that is trying to soothe him, to calm him, to remind him that he is safe. Times the breeze is cool, but not cold, a gentle touch that makes him feel relaxed, that makes him feel at peace. Times he starts walking again, slow and steady, along the edge of the river. Times the water flows beside him, slow and gentle, its sound a constant, calming rhythm. Times the mist drifts beside him, soft and slow, wrapping around him like a soft blanket. Times the grass sways beside him, slow and rhythmic, like a dance that matches the flow of the river, matches the movement of the mist. Times you can hear the soft rustle of Pip's clothes as he walks, slow and steady, no noise. No disturbance. Times his clothes are simple, plain, but comfortable, and they move softly with each step, like the grass, like the mist, like the river. Times he is not wearing anything fancy, not trying to be anyone else. He is just Pip, a young boy, walking through the quiet morning, enjoying the calm, enjoying the peace. Times the sun rises a little higher, casting a warmer glow over the world. Times the mist starts to lift, slow and steady, like a curtain being pulled back gently. Times as the mist lifts, you can see more of the marshes, more of the river, more of the trees. Times the world becomes a little clearer, but still soft, still calm, still like a dream. Times the mist does not disappear completely, just thins, becomes a soft haze that hangs in the air, making the world look gentle, look peaceful. Times Pip looks up at the sun, squinting slightly, but not because it is too bright, because it is warm, because it is gentle, because it is a reminder of the day ahead, a day that will be slow, that will be calm, that will be filled with quiet moments. Times the sun is a soft, golden circle in the sky, not harsh, not bright, just warm, just gentle, just a source of light that makes the world feel safe, feel calm. Times he sees a butterfly fluttering slowly above the grass, its wings are soft, pale blue, like the sky. Times the butterfly flies slowly, no hurry, no rush, just fluttering, from flower to flower, stopping for a moment on each one, as if to smell its scent, as if to enjoy the moment. Times the butterfly swings move gently, soft and slow, a beautiful, quiet dance that matches the calm of the morning. Times Pip stops to watch the butterfly, his eyes soft, his face calm. Times he does not reach out to touch it, does not try to catch it, he just watches, slow and steady, enjoying the beauty of the moment. Times the butterfly flutters to a wildflower, a soft, white flower that grows in the grass and rests on its petals, its wings closing gently, as if it too is resting, as if it too is enjoying the quiet of the morning. Times the wildflower is small, but beautiful, its petals soft and white, its center a pale yellow. Times it sways softly in the breeze, slow and gentle, like the grass, like the mist. Times the flower is alive, bright, but not overwhelming, just soft, just calm, just a small, beautiful part of the world around Pip, around you. Times the butterfly opens its wings again, and flutters away, slow and steady, towards the trees, disappearing into the soft haze of the mist. Times Pip watches it go, and then turns back to the river, to the calm flow of the water, to the soft sound of the river's current. Times he takes a deep breath, slow and steady, breathing in the clean, fresh air, breathing out all the tension, all the worry, all the noise of the world. Times the river flows on, slow and steady, never rushing, never stopping, just flowing, like time, like the quiet of the morning, like the calm that wraps around you. Times the water is clear, cool, and you can see the fish swimming slowly beneath the surface, their bodies moving gently, no hurry, no rush, just swimming, just existing. In the calm of the river. Times the fish are small, silver, and they move in small groups, slow and steady, like Pip, like the butterfly, like the mist. Times Pip sits down on the bank of the river, his legs stretched out in front of him, his feet touching the soft grass. Times he leans back, resting his hands on the ground behind him, his body relaxed, his mind quiet. Times he looks up at the sky, at the pale blue, at the soft clouds that drift slowly across it. Times the clouds are white, fluffy, like cotton, and they move slowly, very slowly, as if they too are taking their time, enjoying the quiet of the morning. Times the clouds drift across the sky, changing shape slowly, soft and gentle. Times one cloud looks like a soft, fluffy sheep, another like a slow, gentle wave, another like a tiny, quiet bird. Times they drift, slow and steady, no hurry, no rush, just moving, just being, in the pale blue sky. Times the sky is vast, but not overwhelming, just calm, just quiet, just a soft blanket that covers the world. Times Pip closes his eyes again, and listens to the world around him. Times he hears the river, flowing softly, the sound steady and calm. Times he hears the bird, chirping slowly, far away. Times he hears the grass, rustling softly in the breeze. Times he hears the distant sound of a cow, lowing gently, far away in the fields. Times it is a quiet sound, a gentle sound, a sound that makes the world feel alive, but not noisy, not overwhelming. Times the cow's low is slow, deep, gentle, echoing through the fields, through the mist, through the quiet of the morning. Times it is a sound that feels like home, like the countryside, like a quiet moment where everything is as it should be. Times the cow is not in distress, not calling out, just lowing, soft and gentle. A reminder of the quiet life that surrounds Pip, that surrounds you. Times Pip takes another deep breath, slow and steady, and feels his body relax even more. Times his shoulders drop, his arms go limp, his legs feel heavy with calm. Times he feels the warm sun on his face, the cool grass beneath his hands, the soft breeze brushing against his skin. Times he feels safe, he feels calm, he feels at peace, completely and utterly at peace. Times he stays like that for a long time, sitting on the bank of the river, eyes closed, listening to the quiet sounds of the morning, feeling the calm of the world around him. Times there is no time here, no rush, no worry, only the present moment, only the quiet, only the calm. Times he is not thinking about the future, not thinking about the past, only about right now, about the soft sun, the cool grass, the gentle river, the quiet mist. Times the mist continues to thin, slow and steady, and the sun's glow becomes a little warmer, a little brighter, but still gentle, still calm. Times the world becomes clearer, but still soft, still peaceful. Times you can see the trees more clearly now, their branches stretching out gently, their leaves rustling softly. Times you can see the marshes stretching out into the distance, green and wide, with the river winding through them, slow and steady. Times Pip opens his eyes again and looks around him. Times he sees a small boat tied to a tree by the riverbank. Times the boat is old, wooden, its paint worn, but it is still strong, still steady. Times it floats gently on the water, moving slowly with the current, no hurry, no rush, just floating, just being, like everything else in this quiet morning. Times he stands up, slow and steady, and walks towards the boat. Times his steps are slow, deliberate, each one a gentle movement that does not disturb the quiet. Times he reaches out and touches the boat's wooden side. Times it is cool, rough, but not sharp, just the feel of old wood, worn by time, by the water, by the wind. Times the wood has a warm, earthy smell, a smell that feels like home, like safety. Times the boat rocks gently as he touches it, moving slowly with the current, with the soft breeze. Times it does not rock hard, not enough to make him feel unsteady, just a gentle movement, like acrodal, like a lullaby. Times the boat is small, but it is safe, it is steady, it is a place where you can rest, where you can relax, where you can let go. Times Pip climbs into the boat, slow and steady, not making a sound. Times he sits down on the wooden seat, which is worn but comfortable. Times the seat is cool, but not cold, and he leans back, resting against the side of the boat. Times the boat rocks gently, slow and steady, and he closes his eyes again, feeling the movement, feeling the calm, feeling the safety of the boat, of the river, of the morning. Times the river carries the boat slowly, slow and steady, downstream. Times the boat moves with the current, no effort, no hurry, just floating, just being carried by the calm flow of the water. Times Pip feels the boat's gentle movement, and it lulls him, it calms him, it makes him feel like he is floating on a cloud, weightless and free. Times he can hear the water flowing softly around the boat, a gentle sound that is close now, but still soft, still calm. Times he can hear the grass rustling softly on the riverbank as the boat drifts past. Times he can hear the bird chirping slowly, far away, still singing its gentle melody. Times he can hear the wind, soft and gentle, brushing against the boat, against his hair, against his skin. Times the boat drifts past a patch of wildflowers growing on the riverbank. Times the flowers are colorful, pink, yellow, purple, soft and bright, but not overwhelming. Times they sway softly in the breeze, slow and gentle, like the grass, like the mist. Times the smell of the flowers is soft and sweet, carried by the breeze, wrapping around Pip, wrapping around you. A gentle scent that makes you feel calm, makes you feel happy, makes you feel at peace. Times Pip opens his eyes and looks at the wildflowers, their colors soft and bright in the sunlight. Times he smiles, a soft, gentle smile, not a big smile, not an excited smile, just a smile of contentment, a smile of peace. Times he does not reach out to pick the flowers, does not try to ouch them, he just looks, slow and steady, enjoying their beauty, enjoying the moment, enjoying the calm. Times the boat continues to drift downstream, slow and steady, carried by the river's current. Times the river bends gently, and around the bend there is a small bridge, made of stone, old and worn, but still strong. Times the bridge stretches over the river, its stones covered in moss, green and soft, a sign of time, of quiet, of calm. Times the bridge is quiet, standing steady, like an old friend, watching over the river, watching over the boat, watching over Pip. Times as the boat drifts under the bridge, Pip looks up and sees the moss-covered stones, the gentle curve of the bridge, the soft light filtering through the gaps between the stones. Times the bridge is cool, shaded, and the air under the bridge is a little cooler, a gentle relief from the warm sun. Times the sound of the water echoes softly under the bridge, a gentle, hollow sound that mixes with the other quiet sounds of the morning. Times the boat drifts out from under the bridge, and the sun's warm glow wraps around Pip again, soft and gentle. Times he looks back at the bridge as it fades into the distance, slow and steady, like a memory. Times the bridge is still there, still standing, still quiet, a reminder of the calm, oft quiet, of the safety of this morning. Times the river widens a little, and the water flows a little slower, if that. is possible. Times the banks are lined with trees, their branches stretching out over the water, creating a soft, green canopy. Times the leaves filter the sunlight, casting tiny, warm spots on the water, on the boat, on Pip. Times the trees are tall, but not imposing, their branches gentle, their leaves soft. A shelter from the sun, a shelter from the world. Times Pip leans back again, closing his eyes, letting the boat's gentle movement lull him, letting the quiet sounds of the morning soothe him. Times he feels the warm sun on his face, the cool breezy in his skin, the gentle rock of the boat. Times he feels safe, he feels calm, he feels at peace, so calm, so peaceful, that he could fall asleep right here, right now, in the boat, on the river, in 'tis quiet morning. Times the boat drifts past a small cottage, sitting on the riverbank. Times the cottage is small, made of stone, with a thatched roof, old and worn, but cozy and warm. Times smoke drifts slowly from the cottage's chimney, soft and white, like the mist, rising into the pale blue sky, slow and steady. Times the cottage has a small garden, with flowers and vegetables, neat and tidy, a scene for quiet, gentle life. Times a woman stands in the garden, hanging laundry on a line. Times she moves slowly, gentle, no hurry, no rush, just hanging the laundry, one piece at a time, soft and steady. Times she is wearing a simple dress, plain but clean, and her hair is tied back in a soft, loose braid. Times she does not look up, does not notice the boat, she is just focused on her task, calm, present, in the moment. Times the laundry flutters softly in the breeze, slow and gentle, like the grass, like the mist, like the butterfly. Times it is white, clean, and it catches the sunlight, glowing softly, like the dew on the grass. Times the woman continues to hang the laundry, slow and steady, her movements gentle, her face calm, a picture of quiet contentment. Times the boat drifts past the cottage, slow and steady, and Pip watches the woman, watches the laundry, watches the smoke drifting from the chimney. Times he feels a sense of warmth, a sense of home, a sense of peace. Times the cottage is a place of safety, a place of calm, a place where life is slow, where life is gentle, where life is good. Times the woman looks up, finally, and sees the boat, sees Pip. Times she smiles, a soft, gentle smile, and waves, slow and steady. Times Pip waves back, a soft, gentle wave, his face calm, his smile content. Times she does not say anything, does not call out, just smiles and waves, a silent greeting, a silent reminder that he is not alone, that there are people in this world who are kind, who are calm, who are gentle. Times the boat drifts on, past the cottage, past the garden, past the woman who continues to hang her laundry. Times the cottage fades into the distance, slow and steady, like the bridge, like the mist, but the warmth of the moment remains, wrapping around Pip, wrapping around you, a gentle reminder of the kindness, the calm, the peace that exists in the world. Times the river flows on, slow and steady, and the boat continues to drift, carried by the current. Times the sun is higher now, but still gentle, still warm, casting a soft glow over the world. Times the mist is almost gone, just a faint haze that hangs in the air, making the world look soft, look calm, look like a dream. Times Pip closes his eyes again, and listens to the world around him. Times he hears the river flowing softly, the sound steady and calm. Times he hears the birds chirping slowly, their melodies mixing together, a soft, gentle symphony. Times he hears the wind rustling through the leaves, soft and gentle. Times he hears the distant sound of a dog barking softly, far away, a gentle sound that does not disturb the quiet, but adds to it, makes the world feel alive. Times the dog's bark is slow, deep, gentle, echoing through the fields, through the trees, through the quiet of the morning. Times it is not a harsh bark, not a scary bark, just a gentle bark, a reminder that there are other living things in this world, other things that are calm, that are gentle, that are safe. Times Pip takes a deep breath, slow and steady, and feels his body relax even more. Times his mind is quiet, his thoughts are slow, his heart beats gently, slow and steady. Times he feels like he is floating, like he is part of the river, part of the grass, part of the mist, part of the quiet morning. Times he is not separate from the world around him. He is part of it, connected to it, safe in it. Times the boat drifts past a group of ducks, swimming slowly on the river. Times the ducks are white with orange beaks and feet, and they swim in a small group, slow and steady, no hurry, nor rush, just floating, just swimming, just enjoying the calm of the river. Times they quack softly, a gentle sound, not loud, not harsh, just a soft, quiet quack that mixes with the sound of the river, with the other quiet sounds of the morning. Times the ducks swim beside the boat for a moment, their bodies moving gently in the water, their feathers glistening in the sunlight. Times they do not fear Pip, do not swim away, they just swim beside him, slow and steady, as if they too are enjoying the quiet, as if they too are part of this gentle journey. Times then, slowly, they swim away, towards the riverbank, towards the grass, disappearing into the soft haze of the mist. Times Pip watches them go, his eyes soft, his face calm. Times he smiles again, a soft, gentle smile, content in the moment, content in the calm. Times he feels a sense of joy, not excitement, not happiness, just a quiet joy, a joy that comes from being present, from being safe, from being surrounded by the calm, gentle world around him. Times the river bends again, and the boat drifts around the bend, into a quieter part of the river where the banks are lined with tall grass and wildflowers. Times the water is even slower here, almost still, and the sound of the river is a soft, gentle gurgle, like a lullaby. Times the air is filled with the smell of wildflowers, soft and sweet, and the sound of bees, buzzing softly, slow and steady, as they move from flower to flower. Times the bees are small, fuzzy, and they move slowly, no hurry, no rush, just buzzing, just collecting nectar, just being. Times their buzzing is soft, gentle, a quiet sound that adds to the calm, adds to the peace, adds to the lullaby of the morning. Times the bees are not aggressive, not scary, just gentle, hard-working, quiet creatures, part of the calm, gentle world around Pip. Times Pip leans forward and looks at the wildflowers, at the bees buzzing around them. Times he sees a bee, resting on a yellow flower, its wings moving slowly, as if it is tired, as if it is resting, as if it too is enjoying the quiet of the morning. Times the bee is small, but beautiful, its body covered in teeny hairs, its wings transparent and delicate. Times the boat drifts slowly, and Pip continues to watch the bees, watch the wildflowers, watch the calm water. Times he feels a sense of peace, a sense of calm, a sense of belonging. Times he is not alone here, he is surrounded by life, by beauty, by calm, by safety. Times he is part of this world, and this world is part of him, and that makes him feel safe, makes him feel at peace. Times the sun starts to move towards the middle of the sky, but it is still gentle, still warm, still a source of calm. Times the air is a little warmer, but not hot, just warm enough to be comfortable, just warm enough to make you feel relaxed. Times the breeze continues to blow, soft and gentle, carrying the smell of wildflowers, carrying the sound of bees, carrying the sound of the river. Times Pip closes his eyes again, and lets the boat's gentle movement lull him. Times he feels the warm sun on his face, the cool breeze on his skin, the gentle rock of the boat. Times he hears the quiet sounds of the morning, the river, the bees, the birds, the wind. Times he feels safe, he feels calm, he feels at peace, so calm, so peaceful, that his eyelids grow heavy, that his mind grows quiet, that he starts to drift into a soft, gentle sleep. Times, but he does not fall asleep completely. He stays in that soft, in-between state, where he is aware of the world around him, but not fully awake, where his mind is quiet, his body is relaxed, and he feels like he is floating, like he is in a dream. Times he hears the river flowing softly, the sound steady and calm. Times he hears the bees buzzing softly, slow and steady. Times hears the birds chirping slowly, their melodies gentle and calm. Times the boat continues to drift, slow and steady, carried by the river's current. Times it drifts past more wildflowers, more trees, more quiet corners of the countryside. Times it drifts past a small pond connected to the river, where lily pads float on the surface, green and round, like small, soft islands. Times the lily pads are covered in dew, glistening in the sunlight, like tiny pearls. Times a frog sits on a lily pad, still and quiet, not moving, not making a sound. Times it is green, with dark spots, and it sits perfectly still, as if it is resting, as if it is enjoying the quiet of the morning, as if it is part of the calm, gentle world around it. Times the frog does not move, does not jump, does not make a sound, just sits, still and quiet, like a statue, like a reminder of the calm, the quiet, the peace of this moment. Times Pip opens his eyes, and looks at the frog, at the lily pads, at the calm water of the pond. Times he smiles, a soft, gentle smile, and closes his eyes again, letting the calm of the moment wrap around him. Times he feels the boat's gentle movement, the warm sun, the cool breeze, and he drifts again into that soft, in-between state, where everything is calm, everything is gentle, everything is safe. Times the river flows on, slow and steady, and the boat continues to drift, past the pond, past the frog, past the lily pads. Times the world around him is calm, gentle, safe, no noise, no worry, no hurry. Times there is only the present moment, only the quiet, only the calm, only the gentle sound of his voice, guiding you, soothing you, lulling you into a state of relaxation, into a state of peace. Times breathe in slowly, and breathe out, soft and steady. Times let your body relax, let your mind quiet, let the calm of this story wrap around you, like a soft blanket, like the mist, like the warm sun. Times you are safe here, with me, in this quiet moment, in this gentle journey through the quiet corners of great expectations. Times the boat drifts past a stand of willow trees, their branches hanging down, touching the water. Times the willow branches are long, thin and green, and they sway softly in the breeze, slow and gentle. Like hair blowing in the wind. Times the branches touch the water, creating tiny ripples, soft and slow, that spread out across the river, like gentle waves, like quiet whispers. Times the willow trees are quiet, standing tall and gentle, their branches a soft, green curtain that hangs over the river. Times the leaves are small, soft, and they rustle softly in the breeze, a gentle sound that mixes with the sound of the river, with the other quiet sounds of the morning. Times the willow trees are a symbol of calm, of peace, of gentleness. They stand quietly, watching over the river, watching over the boat, watching over you. Times Pip reaches out and touches one of the willow branches as the boat drifts past. Times the branch is soft, flexible, and it bends gently under his touch, like a gentle hand. Times the leaves are cool, soft, and they brush against his fingers, a gentle touch that soothes him, that calms him, that reminds him of the softness of the world around him. Times the branch slips through his fingers as the boat drifts on, and Pip watches it as it sways back and forth, slow and gentle, in the breeze. Times he smiles, a soft, gentle smile, and leans back again, closing his eyes, letting the calm of the moment wash over him, letting the quiet sounds of the morning lull him, letting the boat's gentle movement carry him, slow and steady, through this quiet journey. Times the river flows on, and the boat drifts past a small farm in the distance. Times the farm has a few cows, grazing slowly in the fields, their heads down, eating the soft grass. No hurry, no rush, just grazing, just being, in the calm of the morning. Times the farm has a barn, old and wooden, with a red roof, and smoke drifts slowly from the barn's chimney, soft and white, like the mist, like the smoke from the cottage. Times a farmer stands in the field, watching the cows, his hands in his pockets, his body relaxed, his face calm. Times he is wearing overalls, plain and clean, and a straw hat, pulled down over his to shield him from the sun. Times he does not move, does not speak, just stands, quiet and calm, watching his cows, enjoying the quiet of the morning, enjoying the peace of his farm. Times the cows graze slowly, their tails swishing softly, slow and gentle, to keep the flies away. Times they are big, but gentle, their coats soft and brown, and they move slowly, from patch to patch, eating the grass. No hurry, no rush, just grazing, just existing, in the calm of the morning. Times the sound of their chewing is soft, gentle, a quiet sound that adds to the calm, adds to the peace, adds to the lullaby of the morning. Times Pip watches the farm, watches the farmer, watches the cows, and feels a sense of calm, a sense of peace, a sense of belonging. Times the farm is a place of quiet, of calm, of gentle work, of simple joys. Times it is a place where life is slow, where life is gentle, where life is good. Times it is a place where you can rest, where you can relax, where you can let go of all the noise, all the worry, all the hurry of the world. Times the boat drifts on, past the farm, past the cows, past the farmer, and the farm fades into the distance, slow and steady, like the cottage, like the bridge, like the mist. Times but the warmth of the moment remains, wrapping around Pip, wrapping around you. A gentle reminder that there are places in this world where life is slow, where life is gentle, where life is calm. Times the sun is now in the middle of the sky, but it is still gentle, still warm, still a source of calm. Times the air is warm, but not hot, and the breeze continues to blow, soft and gentle, carrying the smell of grass, of wildflowers, of the farm, of the earth. Times the air is clean, fresh, and it fills your lungs, calm and soothing, with each breath you take. Times Pip closes his eyes again, and lets his mind drift, slow and steady, like the boat, like the river, like the mist. Times he thinks of nothing, nothing at all, no worries, no thoughts, no memories, just the present moment, just the calm, just the quiet, just the gentle sound of the river, the wind, the birds, the bees. Times he is completely relaxed, completely at peace, completely present. Times the boat drifts into a narrow part of the river, where the banks are close together, lined with trees and wildflowers. Times the water flows even slower here, and the sound of the river is a soft, gentle murmur, like a whisper, like a lullaby. Times the trees form a soft, green canopy over the river, and the sunlight filters through the leaves, casting tiny, warm spots on the water, on the boat, on Pip. Times a small bird flies down and lands on the edge of the boat. Times it is a small, brown bird, with a soft, gentle song. Times it hops slowly, on the edge of the boat, no hurry, no rush, just hopping, just looking around, just being. Times it does not fear Pip, does not fly away, just hops, slow and steady, as if it too is enjoying the quiet, as if it too is part of this gentle journey. Times Pip watches the bird, his eyes soft, his face calm. Times he does not move, does not make a sound, just watches, slow and steady, enjoying the bird's presence, enjoying the quiet, enjoying the calm. Times the bird hops a few more times, then flies away, slow and steady, towards the trees, its song trailing behind it, soft and gentle, a quiet melody that lingers in the air. Times the boat drifts on, slow and steady, through the narrow part of the river, past the trees, past the wildflowers. Times the river widens again, and the water flows a little faster, but still slow, still gentle, still calm. Times the banks are lined with grass, green and soft, and the wildflowers continue to bloom, soft and bright, adding color to the calm, gentle world around. Times Pip takes a deep breath, slow and steady, and feels the warm air fill his lungs, calm and soothing. Times he exhales, slow and steady, letting go of any remaining tension, any remaining worry, any remaining noise. Times he feels his body grow heavier, his mind grow quieter, his soul grow more at peace. Times he is so calm, so peaceful, that he could stay here forever, in this boat, on this river, in this quiet morning. Times the boat drifts past a cluster of rocks, sticking out of the water. Times the rocks are grey, smooth, worn by the river's current over many years. Times the water flows around the rocks, slow and gentle, creating small, soft ripples that spread out across the river. Times the rocks are quiet, still, steady, like old friends, standing in the river, watching over the boat, watching over Pip, watching over you. Times Pip looks at the rocks, at the water flowing around them, at the ripples they create. Times he sees a small fish, swimming around the rocks, slow and steady, its body silver and shiny, moving gently in the water. Times the fish swims in circles, slow and steady, no hurry, no rush, just swimming, just exploring, just being. Times the boat drifts past the rocks, and the fish swims away. towards the deeper part of the river, disappearing into the clear water. Times Pip watches it go, and smiles, a soft, gentle smile. Times her feels a sense of joy, a quiet joy, a joy that comes from being present, from being safe, from being surrounded by the calm, gentle world around him. Times the sun starts to move towards the west, casting a softer, warmer glow over the world. Times the sky turns a pale, gentle orange, like a soft blanket, and the clouds turn pink and gold, soft and fluffy, like cotton candy. Times the world looks even softer, even calmer, even more like a dream. Times Pip looks up at the sky, at the soft orange glow, at the pink and gold clouds. Times he is amazed by the beauty of it, but not in an excited way, just in a quiet way, a way that fills him with peace, with contentment, with a sense of wonder. Times the sky is beautiful, but not overwhelming, just soft, just calm, just a gentle reminder of the beauty of the world, of the calm of the moment. Times the boat drifts towards the riverbank, slow and steady, carried by the current. Times Pip stands up, slow and steady, and steps out of the boat, onto the soft grass of the riverbank. Times his feet sink slightly into the grass, cool and soft, and he feels the earth beneath him, warm and damp, a gentle reminder that he is here, that he is safe, that he is home. Times he ties the boat to a tree, slow and steady, making sure it is secure, making sure it will not drift away. Times the tree is small, but strong, its branches gentle, its leaves soft. Times he ties the rope around the tree, slow and steady, each knot gentle, each movement deliberate, no hurry, nor rush. Times once the boat is tied, he turns around and starts walking back through the fields, slow and steady, the same way he came. Times the grass sways softly in the breeze, slow and gentle, like a dance that matches his steps. Times the sun's warm glow is behind him, casting his shadow in front of him, long and thin, slow and steady, like a quiet companion. Times the fields are still green, still wide, still calm. Times the mist is gone now, but the world is still soft, still gentle, still peaceful. Times the bird is still chirping, slow and steady, far away. Times the river is still flowing, slow and steady, its sound a constant, calming rhythm. Times the world is still quiet, still calm, still a place where you can rest, where you can relax, where you can let go. Times Pip walks slowly, through the grass, past the wildflowers, past the butterfly that flutters slowly above the grass. Times he walks past the place where he sat on the riverbank, past the place where he watched the ducks, past the place where he saw the cottage. Times he walks slowly, no hurry, no rush, just walking, just being, just enjoying the calm of the afternoon, the warm glow of the sun, the soft breeze. Times the air is filled with the smell of grass and wildflowers, soft and sweet, and the sound of bees, buzzing softly, slow and steady. Times the world is alive, but not noisy, not overwhelming, just alive, just calm, just gentle. Times Pip feels safe, he feels calm, he feels at peace, completely and utterly at peace. Times he walks until he reaches the edge of the fields, where the marshes meet the countryside. Times he stops and looks out at the marshes, at the river winding through them, at the trees standing tall in the distance. Times the sun is lower now, casting a warm, golden glow over the marshes, making them look soft, look calm, look like a dream. Times he sees the bird, flying slowly above the marshes, its wings moving gently, no hurry, no rush, just floating, like a leaf in the wind. Times he sees the river, flowing slowly, its surface glowing in sunlight, like a ribbon of gold. Times he sees the grass, swaying softly, slow and gentle, like a dance that never ends. Times Pip takes a deep breath, slow and steady, and feels the warm air fill his lungs, calm and soothing. Times he exhales, slow and steady, letting go of everything, letting go of all the noise, all the worry, all the hurry of the world. Times he closes his eyes and listens to the world around him, the river, the bird, the bees, the wind. Times he feels the warm sun on his back, the cool grass beneath his feet, the soft breeze brushing against his skin. Times he stays like that for a long time, standing at the edge of the fields, eyes closed, listening, feeling, being. Times there is no time here, no rush, no worry, only the present moment, only the quiet, only the calm. Times he is not thinking about anything, not remembering anything, not worrying about anything, just being, just existing, in this calm, gentle moment. Times the sun continues to sink, lower and lower, casting a softer, warmer glow over the world. Times the sky turns a deeper orange, then pink, then purple, soft and gentle, like a painting. Times the clouds turn deep pink and gold, then purple and blue, soft and fluffy, drifting slowly across the sky, slow and steady. Times Pip opens his eyes and looks at the sky, at the beautiful colors, at the soft clouds. Times he smiles, a soft, gentle smile, content in the moment, content in the calm, content in the beauty of the world around him. Times he knows that this moment is fleeting, that the sun will set, that the day will end, but he does not worry, he just enjoys it, just savors it, just lets it wrap around him, like a soft blanket, like the mist, like the warm sun. Times he starts walking again, slow and steady, back towards home, back towards the small house where he lives, back towards the quiet, gentle life that awaits him. Times his steps are slow, deliberate, each one a gentle movement that does not disturb the quiet of the afternoon. Times he walks through the grass, past the wildflowers, past the butterfly, past the bird, and he feels a sense of peace, a sense of calm, a sense of belonging. Times the sun sets below the horizon, casting a final, warm glow over the world. Times the sky turns dark, but not black, just a soft, deep blue, with a few stars starting to twinkle, slow and steady, like tiny lights in the distance. Times the moon rises, soft and full, casting a gentle glow over the fields, over the marshes, over the river, over Pip. Times the moon is soft, white, and it shines gently, not bright, not harsh, just a gentle light that makes the world look soft, look calm, look like a dream. Times the stars twinkle slowly, no hurry, no rush, just shining, just being, like tiny beacons of light, guiding Pip home, guiding you to a state of calm, to a state of peace, to a state of rest. Times Pip walks under the moon's gentle glow, slow and steady, his shadow stretching out in front of him, long and thin, slow and steady. Times he hears the river, flowing softly in the distance, its sound a constant, calming rhythm. Times he hears the crickets chirping softly, slow and steady, a gentle lullaby that fills the night, that soothes him, that calms him. Times the cricket's chirp is soft, gentle, a quiet sound that mixes with the sound of the river, with the soft breeze, With the quiet of the night. Times it is a lullaby that wraps around Pip, wraps around you, that makes you feel relaxed, that makes you feel ready to drift, to sleep, to rest. Times Pip reaches his home, a small, simple house, made of stone, with a thatched roof, like the cottage by the river. Times smoke drifts slowly from the chimney, soft and white, mixing with the night air, a sign that there is warmth inside, that there is safety inside, that there is home inside. Times he opens the door, slow and steady, and steps inside. Times the house is warm, cozy, filled with the smell of wood smoke, of warm bread, of home. Times a soft light glows from the fireplace, casting a warm, golden glow over the room, making it feel safe, feel calm, feel like a haven. Times the fireplace crackles softly, warm and bright, a gentle companion in the quiet night. Times the fire is small, but steady, its flames dancing slowly, soft and gentle, like tiny dancers, casting soft shadows on the walls. Times the fireplace is warm, and the heat seeps into the room, into Pip's skin, into his bones, driving away the coolness of the night, replacing it with a soft, cozy warmth. Times Pip sits down by the fireplace, on a soft, wooden chair, worn but comfortable. Times he leans back, resting his hands on the arms of the chair, his body relaxed, his mind quiet. Times he looks at the fire, at the flames dancing slowly, at the warm glow casting shadows on the walls. Times he feels the warmth of the fire on his face, on his hands, a gentle warmth that soothes him, that calms him, that makes him feel safe. Times the fire crackles softly, warm and bright. Times the fire crackles